Have you ever felt like you're constantly giving, but getting nothing back? Like you're the go-to person for everyone's problems, but your own life is falling apart? If so, you need to hear the story of Ethan. In a small, peaceful village, there lived a man named Ethan. He was known for his boundless kindness. If someone's fence needed mending, Ethan was there. If a neighbor needed help with their harvest, Ethan would drop everything. He never said no, not once. He believed this was the mark of a truly good person, that his worth was measured by how much he gave to others. He found a certain pride in being the village's most helpful man, but this constant giving came at a price. While Ethan was busy mending his neighbor's fences, his own were starting to crumble. While he was helping others bring in their harvest, his own crops were wilting in the fields. His farm, once a source of pride, was now a picture of neglect. His tools were scattered, his barn door hung on a single hinge, and weeds were slowly taking over his vegetable patch. Ethan started feeling a deep, gnawing exhaustion. It wasn't just physical tiredness from all the work, it was a soul-deep weariness. He felt empty, as if he had poured everything he had into other people's cups, leaving his own completely dry. He would come home at the end of the day, look at his own unfinished tasks, and feel a wave of despair wash over him. But the next morning, the cycle would begin again. Another knock on the door, another request for help, another yes from Ethan because he didn't know how to be any other way. The turning point came one autumn. Dark clouds had been gathering for days, and the wind whispered warnings of a big storm. Ethan knew he needed to reinforce his own barn and secure his crops. His harvest was vulnerable, and this storm could wipe out a year's worth of hard work. But just as he was about to start, his friend Mark rushed over, panicking. A large tree near Mark's house looked like it was about to fall in the strong winds. Ethan hesitated for just a moment, glancing towards his own fields. But Mark's pleas were desperate, so Ethan went. He spent the entire day helping his friend, cutting down the dangerous tree and securing his property. By the time he returned home, exhausted and soaked, the storm had unleashed its full fury. The wind howled, and rain lashed down with incredible force. The next morning, the sun rose on a scene of devastation. His neighbor's house was safe, but Ethan's farm was a disaster. His crops were flattened, drowned in a sea of mud. The river of his kindness had finally overflowed and washed away his own livelihood. Standing there amidst the wreckage of his farm, Ethan felt a profound sense of despair. He had spent his life helping everyone else, but in his moment of need, he was utterly alone. He realized that his unlimited kindness hadn't made him a good person. It had made him a fool. Heartbroken and lost, Ethan sought the counsel of old Mr. George, the wisest man in the village. Mr. George listened patiently as Ethan poured out his story, his voice cracking with emotion. When Ethan finished, the old man didn't offer sympathy. Instead, he looked at Ethan with kind, knowing eyes. "Ethan," he said gently, "your kindness is like a powerful river. It can nourish and bring life to everything it touches. But a river without banks becomes a destructive flood. It loses its direction and power, and ends up destroying the very land it was meant to nurture. You, my boy, have no banks." Mr. George then gave Ethan a challenge, a task that seemed simple, yet felt impossible. For the next 7 days, he said, "I want you to do one thing. Before you agree to help anyone, I want you to stop, take a deep breath, and ask yourself this question: can I truly afford to do this right now without sacrificing my own needs?" The very next day, the challenge began. A neighbor came by asking for help to repair his cart. The old Ethan would have dropped everything instantly, but the new Ethan paused. He took a breath. He looked at his own ruined fields and the leaky roof of his barn. He asked himself the question. And for the first time in his life, he said, "I'm sorry I can't today. I have urgent work to do on my own farm." The neighbor looked surprised, even a little offended, but he just nodded and left. Ethan felt a sharp pang of guilt. It felt wrong, selfish. But as he turned his attention to his own farm, clearing the debris and assessing the damage, another feeling began to surface. A quiet sense of peace. He was finally taking care of himself. Over the next week, he said no several more times. Each refusal was difficult, but with each one, the guilt lessened and his own farm improved. He started rebuilding his fences, salvaging what he could of his crops, and planning for the next season. He was working harder than ever, but this time it was for himself, and it felt good. One afternoon, as a light rain started to fall, Ethan noticed the leak in his barn roof was getting worse. Water was dripping onto his stored grain. He looked around, half expecting someone he had helped to show up and offer a hand. But no one came. The people he had always been there for were busy with their own lives. In that moment of solitude, something shifted inside him. There was no resentment, no bitterness. Instead, a new kind of strength bloomed. He realized he didn't need anyone else to save him, climbed onto the roof himself, found the source of the leak, and with his own 2 hands, he fixed it. As he hammered the final nail, a powerful sense of self-respect washed over him. He had taken responsibility for his own life. Slowly but surely, things began to change. As Ethan focused on rebuilding his farm, it began to thrive again. But the biggest change was in how people treated him. When they saw that Ethan valued his own time and work, they began to value it too. Their requests became more reasonable. They started asking Ethan, "Do you have a moment to spare?" instead of just expecting his help. They respected him more, not less. His relationships became more balanced, built on mutual respect rather than one-sided giving. Ethan still helped his neighbors, but now he did it from a place of abundance, not depletion. He would offer his help after his own work was done. He learned that true kindness isn't about erasing yourself for others. It's about maintaining your own strength so you have something genuine to give. Ethan's story holds a powerful lesson for all of us. Setting boundaries is not selfish. It's an act of self-respect. Saying no to others often means saying yes to your own well-being, your own dreams, and your own life. When you value yourself, the world will value you too. True respect from others doesn't come from being a doormat. It comes from having a backbone. So remember to build your own banks, to protect your own river, so you can truly nourish both yourself and the world around you. Thanks for watching. If this story resonated with you, let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more content that helps you build a stronger, happier life. See you next time.